All right, Chris, watching Jameis Winston across the pond, his first play of the game was a pick, last throw of the game was a pick, and he had 3 more in between. And then Marcus Mariota, who was drafted 1 pick behind Jameis, got benched for Ryan Tannehill. And so with all these young quarterbacks playing like a bombed-out gas station, I'm wondering which one do you think can totally redeem themselves and become a perennial all-pro? Now, here's my top 3.
Yep, let me hear it.
Number 3, we're going with Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Number 2, Baker Mayfield. And number 1, Jared Goff.
Ooh, all right. That's a good list right there. First off, I like all 3 of those guys. And let me just say this about Jameis Winston first off, too. Man, Jameis Winston's frustrating because all the weeks before that, except for maybe week 1, he was a baller.
Right.
I mean, he did some great things. He put 3-4 games together where I went, wow. I mean, he's playing at a high level. It wasn't his fault the field goal kicker and Bruce Arians messed up that end of the game situation against the Giants. But man, last week was like back to the old Jameis. Mariota's a guy I look at like just to further that conversation where I go, he's an athlete that plays quarterback instead of a quarterback who's a good athlete, okay? That's where I put him in that category. All right, so Dak Prescott, I think would be the guy I'm going to look at to turn it around and still have a possibility to become all-pro status.
Number one over all those other guys?
I'm going to put him number 1.
Oh,
I am.
okay, please do tell.
I am. Yeah, well, because I look at it like this. I still think he's got a good support system around him. He's got a defense, okay? They might be a little simple, but they're still talented. They got a run game, and yeah, their offensive line is a little banged up right now at the tackle position, but they're not going to be out for too long. But I still think Dak is big, strong, can make big throws down the field, and he can make plays off schedule with his legs. See,
okay? This is what it is about Dak with me. Because, every year he's going to average about 22 touchdowns, a season. But I'm looking for a quarterback that can just put the team on his back and be like, yo, y'all ride with me. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to win these games. And Dak really hasn't shown me that he can do that yet. Dak has played really well to me when he has that really strong running game supporting them, where they're feeding Zeke Elliott, Zeke doing this thing, and then he's using play action and just diming folks that way. But, I really haven't seen where the running game isn't going well. Dak just goes out there and say, you know what, like, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to win this game. Now, at the same token, I understand that Jared Goff is like Pinocchio. Like, Sean McVay still hasn't taken him off the strings just yet, but at least he's led his team to the Super Bowl.
No, I hear you there. I think a little bit of like the criticism of Jared Goff over the last week against the 49ers. Listen, I watched that film yesterday. You could have put Superman at quarterback and they weren't going to do him anything. Where I just worry about Jared Goff more than anything is because of that offensive line. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up against like the really good defenses to where he'll be able to even show some of his talents to overcome that. And then there's the Baker Mayfield conversation.
We got to get on Bake now.
I know, because Bake is like, he's a little frustrating right now. He has moments, just like we saw in the Seahawks game this last week, where we go, damn, he's a baller. Look at him making plays. But then he has 3 interceptions that are all his fault, all are off-target throws. Sometimes he's leaving the pocket too early and jumping in the pocket all that way. So I think he's still learning how to play in the NFL. He's been in the Big 12 where they don't like to play defense or do any of that, and he's kind of starting to feel his way as far as NFL football. He's had a little bit of a sophomore slump, but I'm still going to stick with my Dak Prescott 1. I think I would go Jared Goff 2, okay? And then I would go Baker Mayfield 3 at this point, because I just think that Browns team is a little immature and finding out how to win games in the NFL right now on the fly.
And this is the thing. I mean, when you start talking about Baker Mayfield, it almost sounded like you were describing Jameis Winston to me, because those guys are pretty similar. I mean, they could both like throw dimes. They just turn the ball over so much. And what's so funny is that Baker Mayfield idolizes Brett Favre, and that's what Brett Favre did. Like, Brett Favre would try to fit the ball in any little slither of a hole that he would see in the defense, which also led to a lot of turnovers. But the most important thing is that winning resolves all that stuff. So if Baker can find a way to will his team to win some games, then, we can live with the turnovers and all that stuff. We've seen people go into the Hall of Fame winning Super Bowls, yet turn the ball over more than any quarterback in NFL history. So if he wants to use Brett as his model, yeah, go ahead and do it, but stop talking and start winning.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I'm with you. Yes, you're going to have a bullseye on your back or your chest or whatever when you talk as much as you do as Baker Mayfield does. And then when you do all these national commercials, too, and you really haven't, like, done anything yet, I mean, guys are going to want to get at you. You know how the NFL works. Yeah. And I know that motivates a defense to shut a quarterback up who's, you know, making money on the field, off the field, getting all this attention. And, you know, safeties and linebackers like you want to go, man, you haven't done crap yet. You got to prove it first before you do these commercials.
Wave the flag and then plant it down. But one thing we will see, though, is that if this little video right here, we're going to put this in the vault and then see which quarterbacks we motivate and then see which ones come out on top. I have a feeling that mine is going to be the dude.
Yeah, whatever. Of course you think it's you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.